Hey, everybody. I will call the Tuesday, October 13th, 2020 Village Board meeting to order. And I would ask the village clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Bingham,
Present.
Trustee Duncan,
Here.
Trustee Grundon,
Here.
Trustee Mansell,
Here.
Trustee Mitchell,
Present.
and Trustee Saylor.
Here.
Okay. I would ask everybody to please rise in your present locations, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I.
Pants on.
To the flag.
To the
of
flag
United States
of the United States of America,
To
to the
the
republic
and to the
which stands
for which it stands,
one nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
under
under
indivisible,
God,
with liberty and
indivisible,
justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, gang. Now I will briefly turn the meeting over to Boz for some of our housekeeping stuff.
We have anyone else online? Okay, I think you all have dealt with this Zoom before. It's best, I don't think we have a lot of echoes. We've been hearing back and forth, so I would recommend you just go to mute when you are not speaking, so it's easier for you to hear. And I'll be able to see who's on mute, so if you're being asked a question, we can poke you another way and get you. I would highly recommend we use the chat function, especially when someone's talking, if you want to get a word out. This is all being recorded, so even the chats are being recorded. So then I can either highlight that as a question being asked, and that saves us having to talk over each other. There is a raise hand function. I'll leave that up to you all if you want to do that, or just a real raise hand. That'll give us an idea. And like I said, we are recording, so we'll try to stick to the same agenda format, but obviously I would ask a little bit of delay to make sure we're not stepping over each other and talking. And that's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Boz. Now I would ask if there are any public comments out in recorded land. Are there any public comments on agenda items?
Anyone on the public online? We don't have any.
Okay, I have nothing for the president's report. And the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Was that by Sue?
Second.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
Okay, I copied Mitchell and Grundon. Is there any discussion on the agenda, the consent agenda, or does anybody want either A or B removed for further discussion? Hearing no request to speak, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda will signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries.
Got all ayes, Diane.
Yeah, okay.
So we will move on now to item number 7A. Boz, you have anything on the airport?
You have the minutes, nothing of concern. The only discussion I will have with them at the next meeting is a discussion about Range Line Road that I'll cover further on in my commentary.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chairman Grundon, Public Safety. Oh, wait a minute, that's Public Safety Commission. Boz, you're on for that one too.
Scott, you dialed in? Go right ahead, Scott. Can you all hear Scott from the Public Safety Commission? Can you all hear him now? Scott, go ahead.
I got you now.
Okay, thanks everyone. The last Police and Fire Commission meeting was held on October 5th. During that meeting, the commission fulfilled its
Good.
annual duty to elect.
Okay. We will now go on to Chairman Mitchell for the CERC committee.
Hold up. You weren't able to hear Scott dialing in? Nobody?
I heard.
No.
No, it's very quiet.
I did not hear.
Okay, try again, Scott. Speak up a little bit.
Okay, we last met on 10/5. During that meeting, we fulfilled our annual duty to elect officers. A motion was passed naming the following the commission positions. President/chair was Scott Stewart. The vice president was Gary Bloom. Secretary is Leo Thomasgard. We also went into closed session to discuss the appointment of a firefighter candidate.
I think we lost Scott. You there? All right, I'll try to dial him back in if you want to just continue forward.
Well, if you can get him back, Boz, I'm going to go on now to CERC and we'll get him on after CERC. Chairman Mitchell, please.
Okay, just a real quick review of our meeting on September 15th. We obviously had a fairly lengthy discussion on public works and the budget for 2021. There is going to be a 5% increase in the overall budget and an operational cost decrease of 8%. The wastewater department had a 5% increase and an operational cost increase of 20%, largely due to the loan, chemicals and repairs. The water department, clean water department, had an increase of 12% in the overall budget, and the operational cost increase is 15%, again, due to chemicals and repairs that are expected. We also had a discussion of the village capital improvement plan, which included for 2021 discussion about replacement of a filter at well number 5 and also purchasing of new vehicles. In Ben's public works report, we had a discussion about special assessments, and that will be an ongoing discussion about how maybe they can happen, different ways of doing that. Alternative wheel tax was a part of that discussion as well. Again, I emphasize it was a discussion, no decisions. Also discussions about the installation of the sirens. They'll both be installed by Christmas time this year. And we also been briefly talked about preparations for the winter, ordering salt and getting facilities and vehicles and everything ready to go when winter is upon us. Our next meeting, we probably will be talking about special assessments. And like I said, that's ongoing. We're also at some point in probably the near future be reviewing policies for the cemetery for gravestones and so forth at the cemetery and how those need to be consistent with our ordinances and discussion about what's there. Our next meeting is the 20th of this month at 4 p.m. So no public listing, but you're all invited. All right, that's my report. The only other comment I would make is I did listen into a couple of the webinars that were last week and this week that Boz had let us know about. And I listened to a couple today. One was on phosphorus standards, which I don't think really affects us a whole lot. And the other was talking about small downtowns, but to tell the truth, neither of the speakers got down to towns that were the size of ours, although it was interesting to hear about Mosinee downtown revamping over the last, actually about 20 years, because that's close to us, and it was interesting. It was quite involved. Osceola was the other town. That was a smaller town, but it's also different because it's very close to the Twin Cities, and that makes it a different place and a tourist attraction as well, so makes it different. So that was interesting too. And that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Any questions before we move back to the Police and Fire Commission? Okay, Scott and Boz, take it away.
Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, we last met at October 5th at 5 o'clock. We performed our annual duty to elect officers. Motion passed naming President Chair Scott Stewart, Vice President Gary Bloom, Secretary Leo Thomascar. The other thing that we did was go into closed session to talk about the appointment of a firefighter candidate. He has been through the process of application, chief interview, background investigations, both criminal and reference, commission interview, and fire department membership review and vote. After hearing everything, the commission motion to appoint Andrew Burley as an associate firefighter. And we welcome Andrew to the honor of serving the Port Edwards community. We'll do a ceremonial swearing-in event at a future meeting. Our next meeting is 12/7 at 5 o'clock. And are there any questions I can answer for anyone?
Any questions?
That's all I have,
Okay, thank you.
Somebody, no questions, right?
Good.
We will move on then. Thank you, Scott. We'll move on to Public Safety Committee and Chairman Grundon.
Public Safety met October 6th at 5 o'clock. We didn't have a lot going on with the fire department. We reviewed the monthly report and budget comparison. Patrick updated us on the process of rolling out Lexipol and the work that's taken. Chief also shared some data on where the fire responses are, that one of our committee members asked for some more specific information, and that was pretty helpful. For the police department, reviewed the monthly report and budget comparison, also an update on the rolling out of the Lexipol and how that's going for the department. We had some discussion about the pending purchase on a new type of vehicle for the department, the pros and cons of the different kinds of vehicles. The consensus was that a pickup truck style is going to be better suited for our needs next year. Also, there's going to be 2 work study students from Mid-State that are going to be working with the police department. They have been vetted and interviewed. Let's see. There was a discussion, an update on the Halloween activity, and also an update on the state COVID restrictions. We went into closed session to discuss fire department payroll or budget issues. The Public Safety Committee recommends the payroll for the fire department be raised to $58,000 for the year, and that the rates for fire call, drills, and meetings be increased as well as an increase to our overtime rate and a 4% raise to all other positions. Our next meeting is going to be November 3rd at 5 o'clock. That's all we had. Anybody have any questions?
planning or
Okay, thank you, Tierra. By the way, I had to move out. The flag was starting to blow in the breeze, so I had to come in here by Boz. Real reason is I'm having a lot of feedback in there. Chairman Duncan. For
Yes,
and Pitt.
all right, so, FHR, we met, on October 8th. We approved the bills and had a discussion regarding the budget and the specifics that were outlined previously. We reached a conclusion as to a few things and saw the impact of it. We'll be meeting again on November 5th to further refine the budget going forward. So that's basically it. If there aren't any questions, I can go on and do Pitt.
Proceed, please.
All right. So there we met again on October 8th. We had a status report regarding our property on 241 and 251 Market Avenue. Basically, it continues to be an issue. Citations are up for the municipal court here. Were they this week? Today, possibly, Buzz?
they were, no, they weren't today. They were
Last Tuesday?
yeah, they were last. I'll get an update on what happened at it. Sorry.
All right, no problem. So, we also had an update on the violations with DMI. The only thing I can say there is they've at least paid their water bill, which is more than they've been doing. And we'll continue to monitor that. And then that's basically it. So if there aren't any questions on that, those are my two reports.
Any questions?
For the good of the group, I did get a response back from Mr. Noble concerning our properties here. His three that are really two, just feeling him out on a possible purchase by the village, just so we can, part of our development plan. And right now, between 35 to 40,000, he's willing to sell the lot, all three of them. No, not to you, Betsy, sorry. So further discussion based on conditions.
Further discussion? Hearing no request to speak, we will move into item number 8, unfinished business.
The only unfinished business from last week was Range Line Road abandonment was the question by the board. Reached out to our legal as well as county. The concern they have is that even though it's in village property, it's village responsibility since it feeds the airport as well as the golf course and the south sides of Rapids. They're very concerned that if the village truly abandons it, i.e. blocks it off and no one can use it, there'd be a concern. And I don't know how much aggravation we would get from those that use it, rather than just dealing with the complaints about filling a pothole now and then. So more to follow. I'm gonna have a discussion with county work, Roland, county DOT, and figure out if there's anything they can do. We also have an option to address the three major landowners that own the left side of it, not the airport, but the left side. And based on some development issues with them, they can either be assessed or assist us in improving that road in the future. So we have some options on the table, but I really don't think an abandonment policy is probably the best for the village.
Okay, any questions for Boz on that? Business, item number 9. Okay, then Boz, it's back to you. Report from the village administrator, please.
All right, you have our October 2020 report. The only update I'll say, in general, Village is still moving forward to preparations for winter. No issues with our maintenance and our preparations for winter with salt, vehicles, and parks and roadways. We're continuing moving appropriately there. Obviously, working in the thick of the budget. We'll have some specific discussions to expand the discussion on payroll that I'll bring to FHR next month, based on the guidance you all gave us. Human resources, we did have one second order effect employee from our water department. His wife was positive, so thereby he was placed on 14 days of sick leave based on treatment. So we're working through that. We're in coordination with the county on any assistance we have to do with that and any additional testing if required. No concerns on payroll execution. We're about 80% executed so far. So basically, we're looking good for the remainder of the year. No concerns there. Public Works, major projects going on. Well number 5, filter replacement. We received the estimates from 3rd Street repairs, basically from Edwards to Lee Tender. So more to follow on that at CERT committee next week, and preparing the parks for winter. The new siren is still about 40% installed. A lot of delays with equipment on that one. The second siren, we gave them an execution order of last week. The power poles going in, and they're going to start installing, sadly, before the first siren. So we'll move out that one. But they both will be installed no later than the middle of December. Completed a curbside meeting with the residents of 6th Street, and 2 days later, asphalt was being laid, and gave them at least a full roadway, pending a future discussion about either a sale of the property across the way, or the village just completing that project next spring. They were all, to a T, very happy and appreciated the response from the village. So good on that one. No concerns with fire or police, and we gave you the Scott Noble update. Budget on track. We're about 50%, a little bit above 50% execution on our budget. And we're about close to we're at 96% receipt of all our revenue for the year. So we're pretty much at where we're going to be. And we'll get a few more hundred thousands of dollars coming in, but that's about it. But concerning that, no issues with the execution. We continue to work the budget. We did get a response back from the county on the grants for the parks and the bike trail. And right now, they will not be giving us grant money next year. But the fix around that was they will give us what's left over this year. So we should see some money next month in the $20,000 to $30,000 range from the county for our projects to help us with bike trails and park improvement. So that's a good thing, because they were just going to turn it back into their general fund, and they sent it to us. So good for us there. That was just definitely a squeaky wheel. Perfect timing, gets the grease on that one. So we received our first refund back from COVID, about $23,000 in reimbursement. So real good on that. And we'll get one more check cut next month. This will also include the payment for our employee that is dealing with COVID. So that's good. It's not going to eat into our budget, eat into our payroll. The federal funds will cover that. We talked about the work study students. They should start in about 2 weeks. They will mostly be working in the police department. They are public safety experts or students, but at the same time, because they have to have adult supervision all the time, have a good agreement with the police chief that if he's on patrol or he or his officers are out and they are not able to attend, then they will jump over to our shop and work, as administrative helpers to learn more about city government, village government. And that's what they really are signing up for. So we'll take full advantage of that. You have included in the back of your packet the initial swags of what a village logo we're looking at for a village logo. Now, what is still lacking is the feedback from the schools, and that's based on the art department. So when I get their assessment or their recommendations, we'll put them all together. We'll get your opinions on it. We'll see which way to go with it, and then we'll start getting public feedback either in a public forum or just put it out on Facebook, put it out on the village website to get a little feedback before we go final. I think there's some great opportunities there or options there. Everything from very static pictures of, the river and the lake, or the river and trees, all the way to very detailed pictures that we got from the Marshall Buell or the Alexander House, with some architectural historical buildings from Port Everett. That one's a little bit busy, but they can refine it down there. So if there's any comments or concerns, or you want us to go in a different direction, please, we can talk about it now, or we can discuss it afterwards, so I can kind of direct them. This artwork came from Rapid Signs, no cost to the village. They were willing to do it for us, obviously knowing that if we approve a sign, we're going to buy it from them. No big deal. We were going to do that anyway. That's where we get our signs from. The school is doing it, pro bono as well, and they were just doing it as an art project with their students, but that's challenging based on the times and whatnot. So that's why I don't have any feedback from you. Any questions on signage from the group? Okay.
My 2 cents. I
Sure.
like number 1. I think number 1 is real clean and crisp.
The trees in the river.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. No. Like I say, we wanted to keep it simple, but some type of connection historically and to what we were known for, and that's a good mix. So, continuing on, veterans organizations still getting feedback. We basically have all buy-in from a multitude of veterans organizations wanting to help us with a veterans memorial upgrade. Nakusa will be sponsoring it, being the fundraising element, and Legion from Rapids, as well as the VFW and the Vietnam veterans from Rapids, are also signed up. So I see some funding coming from them, and then we'll put all that together, and then we'll present that to CERC, saying, okay, this is what we would like to do. And they are very excited to do an appropriate memorial because they really utilize the memorial for funerals and so on. For your information, I depart tomorrow, just an overnighter for this Chamber of Commerce thing tomorrow, or Thursday, sorry. Someplace in Stevens Point, I don't know. So I'll go there and partake with the other 20 participants. So I appreciate y'all's support on that. Looking forward to that, working with our partners here in the region and what we can get some connections and partnerships from them. And then census update, no change. And you see the COVID numbers creeping up. We definitely foresee the mask order staying into effect indefinitely, I would say. And we're getting the grumblings that a version of a very restrictive, or I don't want to go as far as saying a stay-at-home order, but a very restrictive meeting policy beyond less than the 50 that we have right now seems to be going that way for Wisconsin. Moving forward in the next couple of weeks. So if that happens, it really doesn't impact us as a village, other than the parks are pretty much not being utilized for large mass gatherings as well. But we might continue a Zoom-like format, especially because we have a large budget public meeting. We have a planning commission meeting coming up that requires the public participation. So we may have to migrate those to this type of format. And subject to any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions for Boz? Excuse me. No? Okay, going on to item number 11. Diane, you're on.
Oh, nothing to report.
All righty. Trustee comments, item 12. Any comments? Betsy, you've been really quiet. Okay, Boz, back to you for the committee calendar.
You see all the dates there. I think I captured them all appropriately. You see a planning commission date. That's to talk the comprehensive plan. We are 5 years into the comprehensive plan. We are mandated by the state to do a full-blown assessment at 10-year mark. I think that's way too long, because as of right now, all the people that created the plan are gone, or they're not in the right positions. So there's no institutional knowledge there. And when I read the plan, there's a lot of things that, to be honest, are time to, get rid of them because they're either outdated or just not relevant anymore. So I'm going to gather the planning commission together to talk that out in the next couple of weeks. And then we will present to the board the way that works is planning commission meets, identifies a recommendation to adjust the comprehensive plan. It's voted on by the board total, and then we adjust it, and then we post it for all the appropriate authorities that they know our comprehensive plan changes. And it's a 20-year plan for the village. So there's definitely time for some refreshing there. And no other additional meetings other than the next hot one is going to be CERC next week, and then the regular cycle starts up.
Okay, Eric, you've got the Plan Commission in your book. Yeah, this will be our first meeting after I appointed you to that commission in April. Thank you. Okay, hearing no other requests to speak or anything, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Trustee Duncan, second.
Second.
Second by Trustee Mitchell, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much. Your comments on our proceedings tonight and how this worked out on Zoom will be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.